Hello and welcome to Let's Talk SEO. So 404 Media is a website that I'm not fully aware of, but they recently published an article saying that Google News was promoting articles or news articles that were AI generated and were absolute garbage, ripped off from other websites. And I'll put the quote here. The entire article is behind a paywall, and I'll go into why having a paywall is not a problem if you want to rank in Google News, or if you want to show up in Google News, but you have to, do it correctly. And so there is just a short summary that you can use. You can go to the link. I think I'll put the link in the description. You can take a look at, if you have a subscription, you can pay through the paywall and read the entire article. But the gist of the article is that it accuses Google News of not surfacing original news articles, but instead what it surfaces is AI-generated news articles that have been ripped off from other websites, and it is done at scale. Now, Google has its fair share of problems, and I am fully aware of that, but this is not one of the problems that Google has, especially not Google News. Google News in the past 3 years has been able to take what was a platform that rarely anybody used to read news or local news into a platform that even someone like me, I go to Google News to catch up on the news, and it gives you local news, international news, and whatever. And so this is not one of the problems that they have. The problem is with the website itself. 404 Media has put their content behind a paywall, which is fine, but they're not using paywall schema. And so if you're not using paywall schema, you're going to have a problem. And Danny Sullivan responded to this on X and said, you should have paywall schema. And for everyone who keeps telling me that schema is not as important, even Google has said, schema is not important. Schema is a big part of your ranking because it explains to the search engine exactly in machine language what the page is all about. And so if something is behind a paywall, obviously Google cannot show that part of the article, which is behind the paywall. It can only see the summary of the article, and it can only see the title perhaps of the article, but it does not know what the article is about. And so with the paywall schema, you were telling Google, this is the article, this is the news article, this is what it's about, this is who's written the article, this is the length of the article, so on and so forth. And so you then stand a higher chance of showing up in Google News. The other thing that Danny Sullivan said, and he acknowledged that Google News isn't perfect, but the person who wrote this article went ahead and filtered results based on date. So the most recent date, the most recent articles showed up instead of sorting it by relevancy. And so by default, Google News sorts things by relevancy. So if you go to Google, news@google.com, I think that's the URL, you will see that things are sorted by relevancy. The other thing that Danny said is that Google is not boosting AI content in any ways. The focus is obviously on quality, and quality is very subjective. And this is where I kind of don't agree with him, because quality, well, how does a bot understand quality? It's a very subjective thing. And so the person that posted this on X and to whom Danny is responding, Danny has said that the reason why 404 Media does not do so well on Google News is because it takes time. And this is where the whole sandbox thing comes in. Whenever you're creating a new website, which is a brand new domain, regardless of how much content you put on their website, it's not gonna show up in Google. Yes, Google will index it. Yes, Google will crawl it, but will Google show it? No. And the sandbox, how long that thing stays in the sandbox is anyone's guess. My site, cloudseo.dubai.com, was in the sandbox for a whole year, and I was posting articles to it, not regularly, but I was posting to it, and I also posting links to my website from my from my YouTube channel, and from a few other sources like my LinkedIn page, like my Facebook page, my Facebook group. And there are also some links that people have linked to. There are not a whole lot of backlinks. I don't give a lot of attention to it. But the fact is that it was in the sandbox for an entire year, and starting January 14 or 15, it just suddenly exploded and it started showing up in search. And not only just showing up, but started showing up on the first page for a lot of the terms that I was targeting, and it just exploded. And so when I talk to people and I tell people about SEO, especially if it's a new domain or if it's a domain that had been declining for a long time, you're not going to see results right away. Sometimes you're going to see results after a consistent effort for the next few months. And so put in the effort if you want to see organic results. If you don't want to see organic results and you just want the results right away, just maybe run Google ads. So I digress, as I've just gone off a tangent over here. The gist of it is, if you have a Google News, if you have a news website and you're trying to get into Google or Google News, be consistent with posting the news first. Be consistent with posting quality news. And if you can niche down to the type of news that you're doing, like for instance, sports or technology or local news, focus on that, because then you stand a much higher chance of getting the Google News. Also, if you're trying to get approved for Google News, that in itself takes time. I'll probably make a video about that too. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this fiasco, and if you really think Google is boosting AI content in Google News. If you run a Google News website, you're probably in the best position to say that, because I don't run a Google News site, or I don't run a news website. Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.